Sup guys, back here again for another video. This wasn't planned at all. This is a spur of the moment type of thing. Uh, I just finished watching the new Hulu series, High Fidelity, um, which is coming from a guy like me who takes a long ass time to finish a TV series or whatever. Like, the fact that I finished this is kind of huge, but yeah, I just finished watching it, and I guess I felt kind of inspired to make my first video on a TV series. So yeah, if you guys have never seen the series, I recommend it. One of the reasons why I'm making this video. Uh, but for those who don't know, this series is I don't know if it's a remake or a reboot, but yeah, it's based on an existing film with the same name, High Fidelity, with the famous actor John Cusack as the protagonist. I've seen the film. I very much liked it. I've seen the show, and I also very much liked it. Now, there are a few things that I did not like about it that I want to mention, but I want to start with the good things. I think this series is very well structured. There's not one boring episode. Literally, all of them are good. Obviously, I have some least favorites, but they're all good. They're all solid in my opinion. Uh, well, I'll give you a brief, without spoiling anything. I'll give you a brief synopsis. High Fidelity revolves around this girl played by Zoe Kravitz, I think her name is. I know that her mom's name is Liza Bonet, who was the chick that was in the Cosby Show. But yeah, she plays the protagonist. She plays John Cusack's character, essentially. She's just this chick who owns a record store, and she has, relationship problems, but it's much deeper than that. The show is basically revolved around, well, the movie is more revolved around John Cusack's character, knowing why he has had bad relationships and why they never work out. It's more revolved around that. While this series, it covers that same concept, but it's not a main priority. This series is more about the psyche of, I'm making it sound as if this is a character study, but it's actually not. This is essentially a rom-com series, but it's much more dramatic than I expected it to be. Um, but yeah, Zoe Kravitz's character goes on the same journey that John Cusack's character goes through, which is, revisiting exes to know why she's so unsuccessful in her past relationships. But she does so in just a few episodes, but then it just focuses on us going through her still trying to get over a relationship she had before the series started, which is like, if you've seen Sex and the City, it's basically her trying to get over Big, if you know the reference. Yeah, there's just this guy who she just can't seem to get over, and we never know why she can't seem to get over him, despite the series making it clear that it's been a long time since their relationship. Eventually, you understand why she hasn't gotten over him, and you realize that there's more to it than just, I can't get over you, I'm so insecure. But it is kind of like that, but it's more. It's more layered than just, the same old, same old. I love you, I can't live without you, but I'm so insecure, I don't know if I deserve you. It's more than that, honestly. But yeah, the series is revolved around that, and that might kind of turn you off because sometimes it can be a bit much, but it's mostly very interesting. And I would say it's still the series' weakest point, but the strongest part of the series, in my opinion, has to be the setting the set pieces, all of that, and the other characters, because I feel like the other characters are much more interesting than the main character. Uh, Zoe Kravitz's character hangs around with these two people whom she works with at the record shop, like in the movie. But and well, not but the exchange they have is always so interesting and fun to watch. And I don't know. I guess based on experiencing what we experience with the main character, sometimes it just feels like the secondary characters are much more interesting than her. I don't know if anyone else feels that way with the series. Unfortunately, I don't know the names of all the characters. I had to look up the characters' names because I'm really bad at remembering them. But yeah, the main cast of Rob, Clyde, Charisse, and Simon. Well, Clyde, I wouldn't include Clyde, but yeah, Rob, Simon, and Charisse are by far the best characters of this series. They have the best chemistry. If you're kind of into that, that's kind of worth watching. Like, even if most of the things I tell you sound unappealing, I think the chemistry between the three main characters is so great that it's enough for you to watch the series. But that that chemistry kind of comes with a price, because unfortunately, the characters of Charisse and Simon are much more interesting than Rob, unfortunately. And it's really not because of the shit that Rob does. Because one thing this series does is that at first it may look like a simple story of, oh, he broke my heart, fuck him, he's an asshole, blah blah blah. It begins that black and white, but the series then slowly turns into, slowly, I wouldn't say turns into, it just slowly dives into a gray area where you really don't feel that bad for her, because I mean, I won't spoil it, but she does some very questionable things that makes it hard for you as the viewer to actually sympathize with her anymore. But it's not a flaw. I honestly think that's one of the best things they could do. But I feel like the reason why the character is kind of overshadowed by, her other main characters, Charisse and Simon, is mainly because those two they were just written in a more interesting way. I mean, you have Simon, who is this very hipsterish gay dude who loves music in such a way that he just tells you the name of this band of a small country that no one even knows about, but somehow he has the collection of all of the albums of that band, and he just tells you why that band is important to music, even though no one knows about that band. Yeah, and my computer, sorry, and only that is interesting about him. But then the series, while giving you that, the series also tries to give you a few things from his personal life, and you just end up knowing stuff about his love life, about his personal life, about a lot of stuff, which makes him even more interesting. There was even one episode where he kind of takes over, and there's a whole episode dedicated to him and his insecurities and his past relationships and stuff like that, which is by far one of my favorite episodes. And then there's also Charisse, who is interesting as hell as well, because At first, you would think that her character is just being used as the sassy character archetype, but as the series goes on, you realize that she's so much more than that. Sometimes you, uh, yeah, like I said in the beginning, at first you think that she's gonna be used as that weak character that people always use. Oh, the sassy character. But she begins like that, but then you realize that there's more layers on her. Like she's much more interesting. She's very passionate about music as well. She has a very private life. She is very creative, but also very shy. She seems like a very vocal person, like very confrontational. But really, she's actually the most insecure of all, and the thing she's most insecure about is her music, which is something that she never reveals to, not even to her two closest friends. And in fact, even the final episode, while they didn't dedicate an episode to her like with Simon, they did do a very fitting arc where she there's a midpoint in the series where she starts coming by late to work because like I said, she works in the record shop with Rob and Simon, and you slowly then realize that the reason why she's getting late is because she has another job. And then the reason you find out that the reason why she has another job is because she's trying to raise money to buy a specific guitar that she wants to use so she can finally make the music she wants. At first, you're kind of like, at first, as a viewer, you kind of don't care about that because there's a lot going on in the series, and also because throughout the whole series, you see her always trash talking about how she's gonna make it big, she's gonna make music, but then she always finds an excuse to never show her close friends, the music she apparently makes. And but then, like, when she starts, actually raising money for that guitar, the main character, Rob, decides out of nowhere to give away her most prized possession and buy her that guitar. And and then for the first time, I'm sorry, I paused a bit because this is actually a pretty big part of the show, in my opinion. After all you go through in that series, you finally hear a voice that you've never heard singing, and you hear that person strumming a guitar, and then you realize it's Charisse, and you finally hear her sing and play music, and it's such a big payoff that it actually made me shed a tear because it's like, wow, like, look at this talented person who is so afraid of showing off her skills as a musician. Yeah, like, and the season sort of ends that way, and yeah, these two characters are, in my opinion, much more interesting than fuck, why do I always forget the fucking names? Rob, Jesus Christ. This is not a reflection of me not caring about the characters or the show. I really do. I very much liked it. In fact, I ended up binge watching the series. But yeah, that's like this is like a very long version of me saying that this is one of the series flaws, which is that unfortunately these two secondary not secondary, but these two characters are much more interesting, in my opinion, and it just makes Rob's character kind of dull, and unfortunately, the show, while it is interesting that the show centers around her fucked up love life, at the same time, it can get kind of old. And there are some episodes where I wish they could have just, yeah, I mean, we don't need to know this type of stuff. But then when we that's it's honestly the middle part. The middle part is where the show kind of lags and starts focusing way too much on her obsession with her last boyfriend, and but then when they finally get to the end, that's when the show picks up again. And yeah, a lot of shit happens that I'm not gonna spoil. And yeah, it ends in a strong way. It begins strong. The middle part is weak, but then the end it goes strong again. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good description of the show. I mean, I'm not gonna say that you should skip episodes. You shouldn't. You should watch every episode. But yeah, it comes with its weaknesses, unfortunately. This series just feels like a pilot. Usually when people make pilots, it's only one episode. But to me, this whole season feels like a pilot. And as a pilot, it worked. It passed. It passed. It has a pass. There are some things that they need to tweak. A few things. But if the writers are this talented to make this very interesting show, I'm fairly sure that the second season will be an upgrade. Maybe. I mean, I hope so. But the first season is actually a very good pilot of what's to come of the series, and I hope there's another season, and I hope it's better than the first season. But yeah, that's essentially my thoughts on the series. I recommend the movie. I think you should watch. In my opinion, I think you should watch the movie and then the series. Try to watch them both. It doesn't matter what order, but try to watch them both. They're both equally good, in my opinion. Yeah. I gotta go back. I'm currently trying to watch a movie, so yeah. Like always, guys, like and subscribe. Share this video, please. And oh yeah, I have 2 announcements. I will be going on a trip to Houston and Iowa, and yeah, I just wanted to say that because I'll maybe post a vlog after this video and another video I'm gonna post. But yeah, it's possible that there may be a vlog of my trip. And another thing I want to announce is that there's a podcast that I'm gonna be making coming soon. It's gonna be hosted by me, my brother, and my cousin. So yeah, follow me on Twitter, and the official Twitter of the podcast I'm going to do. Links will be on the description. And yeah, that's it. Bye, guys. Of course. Come here, girl. Go ahead, be gone with it. Come to the back. Go ahead, be gone with it. VIP. Go ahead, be gone with it. Drinks on me. Go ahead, be gone with it. Go ahead, be gone with it. Look at those hips. Go ahead, be gone.